Alright guys, this is the next part of our series on orthographic projection. So we're going to go over, these are some of the shapes that we drew before, and I just cut them out and taped them here on this graph paper, this Cartesian graph paper. So let's show you how to draw. So traditionally the orthographic projection is represented like this with the top. Directly under it and lined up is the front, and then to the right is the right side. And you'll notice that all these sides have to line up like this. And you'll even notice like these angles, edges, and all of that should line up when you're drawing these out. Now you don't draw these lines in, I'm just showing you where to position the piece. Okay, so let's start with this one. So everything that's in the pink is going to be the top. Everything front, that's the blue, is going to be the front. And everything in the yellow is going to be the right side. Okay? So I kind of like to start with the top. Alright, so the top for this piece is going to be, we'll just count these spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 long. I'm going to start off over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 long by 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Put 3 on this side. Okay, so we've got our outside shape of the top view. Okay, now I got to add in this little box up here. So I have to figure out where it starts. It looks like it starts 1 over this way and 2 over this way on both sides. So I go over one this way and then 2 over this way right here. This is where it's going to start. It looks like it's one thick, and 2 long. So I might want to draw that in there. 2 long and 1 thick. And those dark lines, remember, all they represent are their object lines. They represent a change. So when this changes height, it either goes down or up. It's not the same level as this. We put a line there. Okay? Next, we got to do the front, which is the blue area. Okay, so we're going to come down a little bit. And I'll start with this part, the bottom part. So we've got, I know this is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 by 1. So that's where we're going to start. And this needs to line up with that box. So there's the 1. And then, since I already know that this right here is 6, I don't even have to measure or count it out, because I know that's where it's going to come down. And, okay, got that. Now I got to add this part. It looks like it's 2 long. Comes in, let's see where this starts. 1, 2 from the side, and then it goes 1, 2, 3 tall. So 2 in from the side, it's going to start here, and it's going to go 3 tall. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and it's 2 over, so 1, 2. See, like 1, 2, 1, 2, and we'll go to the other one. Now when we do measurements, you're going to want to leave a little bit more space between them than that, but for now, that's okay. Okay, now look, these line up here, the light line, they're in line with each other. Notice that these lines line up because these lines represent this edge. Okay, same with the next one. So we're going to do the right side, the yellow. Okay, and it is going to be 1, 2, 3 by 1 tall. So we're going to go right here. Okay, There's my 3, and this part is going to start 1 over in the middle. It's going to be one wide and 1, 2, 3 tall. So 1 over, 1 wide, and 1, 2, 3 tall. One good way to check if you've done these right is whenever you're done, the edges of this one should line up with the edges of this one, and the top and bottom of this one should line up with the top and bottom of this one. Okay, so, and you can see now normally there would actually be a hidden line here and here because there's an edge you can't see, but remember an object line always covers up a hidden line. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see kind of how I got that right there. Okay, let's do the next one real fast. I'm not going to talk about it as much. I'm just going to go quick. Start with the top. I got 2 tall by 1, 2, 3 over. So let's do 1, 2 by 3 over. Okay, and this is just one little box, and it's in the top left corner. It's easy to see. Next, we're going to do the front side, the blue side, which is 1 tall, 3 over. So, there we go. 1 tall, and then 1, 2, 3 over. I'm just going to try to go quick, so I'm going to get through these examples. And this part right here starts over on the far left side. It goes 1 back, so there's going to be an object line there. And then it's 1 wide and 1, 2, 3 tall. Okay. Now you look, if you see, this all lines up. That edge lines up with this edge. These ends up with this edge. Okay. Now we're going to do our next side, which is going to be the right side, the yellow part. So 1 by 2. Let's do 1 by 2. Okay. And then 1, 2, 3. All on the far right side. It's on this right side, so right here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1. Boom, done. Okay, so you can see all of the similarity. All right, I'm gonna real quickly go through these next ones. They're a little trickier because they got some of the curves and slants, so we're gonna talk about that. So let's do this real fast. Let's start off with the top. I'm gonna go. It's gonna come down, so we've got 1, 2, 2 long on both sides, so 1, 2, then it goes over 1, okay, keep in mind this is the top, so right here, 1, 2, goes over 1, by 1. Now, when you're doing the assignment part of this, I would recommend, and it goes over 1 here and then does the same thing back. I would recommend not doing these unless you're really comfortable because these are much more difficult. I'm probably only going to do 1 here for the example, just because of time's sake. Okay, so we got that, and then that goes back 1, 2. And this goes, should be 3, so 1, 2, 3. That's right. Okay. Okay, so the first part I notice is that there's an object line right here. It changes elevation where that curve is, so then I'm going to have to draw a line right there. Okay, so that curve would actually start here, it'd flatten out, and then go down. Okay, next I got to draw in the object lines for the slant. So it comes out 1 and 1. Okay, so let's go 1. 1. Okay, so that's the top part of that shape. I know it's kind of weird, but that's actually how it is. So, All right, let's do the front. It's going to be all this. Okay, got a line up here, start down here, and it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 tall. Okay, and this is going to be 1, 2. Well, yeah, 1, 2, and then 3. Well, let's do that. Okay, and this is only going to be 1 tall here. This goes 1 over here. And this part slants up. Let's draw that slant. And then this part goes up. Okay, that's just the outline. I'm not done. I still have some lines. So I will tell you on this first one thing I forgot is that there's a hidden line. There's an elevation change in here, inside this little hole. So I need to put a dashed line right there and a dashed line right there. Just realize that. Okay. Here we've got this edge change, so we've got to, because it goes at a diagonal back, so we got to put a line there. And then we have this line that goes back here through this object that we can't see, so we have to put a hidden line. There's going to be a hidden line here. Okay, because it goes all the way back. And that should be it for the hidden lines on that one. Okay, now let's do the right side. It's going to be everything over here. So looks like it's going to be a 3 by 1, 2, 3, 4 tall. So let's go ahead and just do that. I'm going to go 3, 3, 3. I didn't draw that top line because this top line is actually going to be our curve. And you just have to hand draw that in. Okay, so now I got this like outside shape. Now I got to draw all the rest of my lines in. Okay. There's pretty much going to be a line straight across here. That represents this line right here. There's going to be a line here and here that represents this slant, that change in elevation. Okay. There's going to be a line that's 1, 2 tall, representing that hole in the middle. 1, 2, 1, 2. And then there's going to be a line here and here representing this little slant. Okay, it goes up 1. And there we have it. That's it. And you have to do these. I mean, they get pretty complex, so do this last one really fast. This one's tough because it kind of comes in here. You can't see everything that's going on. But so it's 3 by 3. So I'm going to start off 3 for the top. I'm only going to do 2 because this curve's in one. I'm going to draw on that curve. And 3 over 1, 2. Then it's going to go 1 right there, curve back in. Okay. Then it's going to go back 2, 1, 2. It's going to go over 1, up 1. And I can just tell you from that piece, there's a little notch that comes out right there. So I'm going to draw that in. And then there's these 2 side pieces that come out 1 by 1. So 1. and a circle in the middle. There's the top part. Okay, now you gotta do the right, or the front side, sorry, which is gonna be everything from over here. Okay, so we're gonna line this up. This is 1, 2. So it goes up 2, 1, 2. Then it slants over, it goes over 1 and up 1. So like this. And then this comes down 3. 1, 2, 3. Oops. Oh, I actually did this wrong. So that slant I just drew in, it's actually not, it slants, but I drew that part. It slants facing me, so you can't see the edge. So you actually have to draw an object line in there, because keep in mind it's to this side. Okay, now it goes out 1 from this and then curves back in, so 2. And we can't see that curve from this angle, so. Oh yeah, on the circle, we also need to draw a center line. So we're going to put a little dash in the middle, and then a long dash that goes through the object. Okay, same thing with this side. Shows us where the center of that circle is. Alright, sorry to get distracted. Now this guy comes up so we can't see it, but this guy sticks out. So I don't know if you know, like look here, this line would come out here, but this comes out 1, so we gotta draw on that little nub that comes out the back. Oops, I drew my top wrong. I drew it down. I should have drawn it over like this. Same on this one. It's okay, I still made it work. But actually, all of this should have been shifted over. Dang. Okay, I just paused and fixed it. If you look at this top one, I end up rotating it over. And you can kind of tell what I did wrong because when the original way, these lines didn't line up. So like this diagonal edge is that line right there. It was over here. The thing you gotta think about is if you unfold this like a box, that it kind of folds over. It's easy. It's an easy thing to do. But you can see, so I fixed this. Now these little pillars that come up line up, and that little nub that comes out the back of this shape, it lines up with this. So you can see how the edges all line up and they all look about right. I'm going to draw on this edge right here. Well, yeah, I do draw on that line. Well, no, I don't actually. I got to erase that. That's for the curve. I drew this wrong again. I put a diagonal when it was a curve. Okay. There we go. All right, now let's get the front. Now notice all these sides line up. This lines up with that. Now I gotta make sure the top of this lines up with that. So this will be everything on the right side will be everything coming from this way. So I know this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 long. So we'll start here. Oh, and there is a hidden line here. And then there's also a center line on this guy before I get going too far. Little line followed by a long line. Or that hole goes through. Okay. So we're going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And then I'm going to erase But this part only goes 3, so it's going to be 3 and 3. Because that's that little curved part. Alright, and then these pillars, this side extends up 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So 1, I've already drawn the 1, I'm going to draw the 2. And then this side 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. And now I've got all that. And I just got to account for the circle and this part in the back. Now the part in the back I don't have to worry about because these hidden lines are actually going to overlap. So I'm going to put a hidden line there. Okay. And I got to put my center line for the center of that circle. I should have done these boxes bigger, but hopefully you can see that. Alright, so let's review real quick. There's that outside curve, or here's this, the tops there. That hidden lines represents this middle part. These lines right here represent the changes of that little slant right there. Folds down. This is all this part over here. Okay, this line right here represents that little change in elevation right there. The hidden line back here represents this going through. Okay, and that's pretty much it. And it flips over, and same thing. Okay, here's a little more difficult because you got the center lines you have to deal with because you have a circle. But you can see that I've got the shapes to the side. Comes down, all this lines up, all of this lines up. Okay, and these represent the pillars coming out, the little part in the back. Notice there's no line right there because this is all connected. And then the slant. All right, so hopefully I'll help you with that part of the assignment. Okay.